In this Big Tractor Power video, we're going to take a look at the new 2017 John Deere 9R Series four-wheel drive tractors. We're here at our local John Deere dealership in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Hudson Equipment, and several new 2017 9R tractors have just arrived from the factory in Waterloo, Iowa. The big change for 2017 in the 9R Series four-wheel drives is not the engine, horsepower rating, or even the model numbers. Here we can see a new 9620R that's just come in. The change for 2017 is in the back of the tractor on the articulation, and that is new Fender fuel tanks. These are poly tanks. They are made of plastic. We can see here they're black plastic, and the major change came on 9R tractors in 2015 when a steel mounted Fender fuel tank was added to the four-wheel drives from John Deere. And while the capacity was increased with that Fender fuel tank, the visibility was obstructed, and a lot of operators commented that they couldn't see the implement in the field as well with that big tank. So when John Deere introduced its 4-track 9RX series tractors in 2016, these poly tanks came out, and now in 2017 the wheel tractors are getting the tanks. We can see they have a nice sculpted look and give the operator good visibility down to the implement here on the ground. This 9620R has a 400-gallon poly tank on the back. The 9570R and 9520R also have the 400-gallon tank, while the 9370R, 9420R, and 9470R have a 310-gallon poly tank on the back of the tractor. John Deere produces these tractors in Waterloo, Iowa, and that factory is going to be celebrating 100 years of tractor production starting in 2018. And the largest tractor offered by Deere today is the 620 horsepower John Deere 9620R, and tractors have come a long way in 100 years from the original Waterloo boy that started coming out of the factory in Waterloo, Iowa in 1918. We can walk back here and see another 2017 9620R set up on triple tires. Triples are very popular here in Western Kentucky for the flotation and traction that they give in the field, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing these 9620Rs on a local farm that we follow throughout the year. We'll probably get to see these big monsters on the triple tires in June. They'll be hooked up to 3 different Horse Anderson 60-foot air drills to plant double crop soybeans directly after the wheat harvest. The farm currently has 2016 9620Rs with the steel Fender fuel tanks that we'll see in the field in the very near future. They'll be pulling 62.5-foot Blue Jet and Hydrus application bars, and because it takes a lot to get these tractors plumbed up to check the pressures on the tanks and get all the monitors set, we probably won't see these tractors until the seeding season, and we'll see the 2016 models for spring tillage and Hydrus application. Here we can see another new 2017 9R, and that is a 9420R. The farm that these are going to also runs the 9620Rs that we just looked at, and the 9420Rs are the corn planter tractors. The farm has 5 24-row Kinsey corn planters, and these 9420Rs will be fitted with large chemical tanks on the front to hold starter fertilizer, and the 9420Rs have row crop duals to pull the planters, and then they'll be hooked up to Kinsey 1100 grain carts during wheat, corn, and soybean harvest. And we can see they're weighted down in the back. These tractors also pull John Deere 915 V-rippers in the fall. Here we can see that poly tank. This is the 310-gallon version on the 9420R, and then you can see the 400-gallon version back on the 9620R up in the front. This tractor is equipped with a 3-point hitch. Again, it pulls that 7-shank 915 V-ripper in the fall, and that 3-point hitch is great for hooking up the ripper for tillage. The 9620R also will pull a V-ripper in the fall. It pulls a 915 9-shank V-ripper, and they use an equipment caddy to hook the ripper onto, and that caddy just goes right into the hitch pin here on the tractor. So it'll be exciting in just a few weeks to see the 9420Rs hooked up to the corn planters and rolling in the field, and then these bigger 9620Rs in June hooked up to the air seeders. And the poly tanks sure stand out. Here we can see the older style John Deere 9R with the steel Fender fuel tank. These were offered from 2015 through 2016 John Deere 9R models. This is a John Deere 9470R, and it's pretty neat to see it with a larger style dual on it. Here in Western Kentucky, typically the 370 to 470 horsepower tractors are used on corn planters primarily, and they have the row crop dual like the 9420R that we just saw with a poly fuel tank. But this one has a larger tillage tire on it, so it's probably pulling a disc or a vertical tillage tool in this region. Here we can see that steel Fender fuel tank that I was talking about. This is what the poly tanks just replaced. We can see again that it is a metal tank. The 9470R, the 9420R, and the 9370R with the steel tanks had a 310 gallon tank, which is the one that we're looking at. And then the 9520R, the 9570R, and the 9620Rs had the 400 gallon steel fuel tank. And again, the key concern with this style tank was just that the visibility wasn't as good. We can see it's not as rounded and smooth as the poly tank, so the view of the implement was slightly obstructed on this particular model. But again, they're great tractors, definitely big four-wheel drives, and always exciting to see them out in the field. So that's just a key difference between the new poly tank and the steel tank, is mainly just the cosmetic look and the operator's view. And we'll also just take a look at the earlier style 9Rs that were offered from 2012 through 2014, and those models did not have a Fender fuel tank at all. They simply had a rounded fender. The John Deere 9R series was introduced in 2012 and ranged from 360 to 560 horsepower in the model range. Here we're looking at the 9560R. The original 9Rs did not have Fender fuel tanks, and we can see here in the back of the tractor it simply had a rounded fender on the rear articulation. Models 2012, 13, and 14 all came with this style of fender. And then it was in 2015 that the next generation 9Rs were introduced, and the 620 horsepower model came out to replace the 9560R as the top tractor in the lineup. And the models all received a 10 horsepower increase, so the range went from 370 horsepower up to 620 horse. Again, we can just see it simply had rounded fenders on those 2012 to 2014 models, and then in 2015 the steel mounted Fender fuel tanks were added to the tractor range. We hope that you've enjoyed this Big Tractor Power update on the John Deere 9R series of four-wheel drive tractors that have been offered from 2012 to 2017. We're looking forward to seeing these big new 2017 9Rs hard at work out in the fields of Western Kentucky. It was great to see them brand new on the lot here at Hudson Equipment in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. We'll definitely be seeing these tractors hard at work here in the area as they get ready to plant corn and soybeans with them. And if you would like to see more videos of big John Deere 9Rs and 9RXs at work, as well as catching up with these tractors in the future out in the field, go to bigtractorpower.com and link directly to our YouTube channel, where there are over 1,000 videos of farm machines in action just like these, hard at work in the field. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for pictures and updates, as well as farm equipment history on a daily basis. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back in the field very soon.